Hi everybody, it is so great to be with you today. It's been so long since I've seen everyone, and it's great to be with you. I'm out here in the barn. There you can see Heather behind me, and there's Noosta, and you might see the baby alpacas. Those are my God moments, the little babies, if they come around. I don't know if they will or not, but they might. So I've been thinking a lot about you and everything that's going on. This has been such a crazy time, and it's been kind of upsetting to me, and I thought, well, if it's upsetting to me, it might be upsetting to you too. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that today. It must have been really hard for you when all of a sudden you couldn't go to school or to daycare, and you couldn't play with your friends for a while, and the pool isn't even open yet, although I do hear it's opening Monday. You can't go to the movies, you can't do all these things that you like to do, and it's hard on the grown-ups that way, and I'm sure it's really hard on you too. So I thought we'd talk about that a little bit today. Maybe you've heard some big words that are unfamiliar to you, words like pandemic and coronavirus. And so I just want to explain to you a little bit about what's going on. Maybe you already know this, but the coronavirus is a new virus. Our bodies have never seen it before, and so it can make us really, really sick. Some other viruses are things like chicken pox and measles. We have shots or vaccinations for, and you got those when you were little. And chicken pox, you might have had chicken pox, but then you can't get it again because your body recognizes it and knows how to get rid of it. But with coronavirus, our bodies don't know it. So we don't have any immunity to it. We can't fight it off. Well, we fight it off, but we can't prevent it from happening. And for some people that's okay, that's not that big a deal. It's like a bad cold. But for other people it's really bad, and it can really make people very sick or even kill them. And that's the concern. You don't know how it's going to affect you if you get it, so we want to prevent people from getting it. It's called a pandemic because it's gone all over the world. It started in China, and now it's in the United States and in Europe and everywhere. So it's called a pandemic. So those are those words. In the middle of all of this, then we have the protests because of racism and brutality against one particular man, but it's become apparent that it's to a lot of other people. So the protesters are angry because one man, George Floyd, was killed when some police were really mean to him. And that's what brutality is. Brutality is when you are so mean to somebody that it causes injury, or in George Floyd's case, even death. And people of color, our brown and black friends, have put up with this for so long, and they are angry and tired, and they're saying that's enough. We don't want any more racism. And racism is when you think that you are better than somebody else because of the color of your skin and the color of their skin. And so they're saying we have been the victims of racism and white supremacy for too long, and we don't want it anymore. And a lot of people are agreeing with them. And so that's how change happens, and that's a good thing, but it's kind of scary, and it's unnerving. And some grown-ups are angry about it, some are not, some are just worried about it, and I don't know what it's like at your house, but you might be hearing some of this stuff too. So there's a couple of things I want to tell you. One is that it is the job of the grown-ups in your life, whether it's your mom and dad or your grandparents or your aunt and uncles, your teachers, Pastor Bruce, Mrs. A, me, your friends' parents. It is our job to make you safe and to keep you healthy. And we take that seriously because we love you. And so that's why we give you shots. Nobody likes to get shots, but we give you the shots so that you have immunity to some of these illnesses that could make you really sick. That's why we don't send you to school right now, because we don't want you to get sick. So that is our job, and we are going to do it to the best of our ability because we love you. The other thing I want you to know is that God loves you too. And God has promised that God will always be with us. When Joshua was trying to take over Jericho, God said, I will never leave you and I will never turn my back on you. And that gave Joshua the courage to go and do what God wanted him to do. And God says the same thing to us. I will never leave you. I will never turn my back on you. And the psalm for today is Psalm 116. And I just want to share that with you. The first 2 verses. I love the Lord because the Lord has heard my voice and my prayers. Because God listened to me, therefore I will call on God as long as I live. And so when you're feeling scared or sick or angry or hurt, or when you're feeling happy and excited, call on God. God has promised to always be with you. And that's part of why Mrs. A has asked you to look for those God moments. When you find something that makes you happy and reminds you that God loves you, those are the things we say thank you to God, and those remind us that God is with us, even though sometimes it's a little bit hard to find God. So I hope that you will be able to go to the pool and enjoy it on Monday when it opens. I hope that you are able to be outside. I hope that you're healthy. I hope we'll get to see you soon. But remember, send Mrs. A those God moments, and remember that God is always with you. Amen.